Welcome to Polymuse. I am Michael, and this is the Cuz.
How's it going, guys? My name's Ben, and we are here live at Polymuse Studios.
And we are continuing our journey through System of a Down's discography.
Bonus episode alert. It's a bonus episode.
It sure is. Today, we're taking the Metro.
Very efficient way to travel, if I do say so myself. How eco-friendly of you, Michael.
Yep, I try to be.
You took the Metro all the way to my apartment.
This is a cover of Berlin's track released in 1981. Was not on an album originally. Was a single, and it was re-released several times in the 80s. Weird time.
Okay,
Those
and
80s.
just so while we're talking about the 80s, this is a new wave song. This is
Yes.
not a metal song. This
No.
is not a Black Sabbath, stoner metal, any of that. This
Yep.
is like a synth pop new wave song it's very interesting that System. I want to hear System do like a disco album.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they now have done these hip hop ones, that seems a little more, kind of fad, kind of good. It makes sense though, because a lot of new metal was influenced by hip hop. But this is totally left field, just silly disco. I mean, when I was a kid, I hated this kind of music because I liked heavy metal.
Right.
But the older I got, the more I liked. Like, I like disco and house and synth pop and a lot of these, more electronic sequenced types of music. New wave is awesome. This song is awesome. It's just, holy cow, what a completely, they could have covered
Some more of this genre.
Yeah. Rick Rubin should have been like, look, I know you want to be this like thrash punk metal. And they do have that influence in some of their songs, kind of that throbbing, like doom ta rhythm.
Yeah.
They never use drum machine because they have one of the best drummers in the world. Very underrated drummer. John Dalmayan is on all of these. The last couple cover songs, I keep meaning to gush about him on these bonus episode content. So I'll do it now on the Metro. They slay, dude. This is like chop, 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 chop. Tight.
Yes. Their
music.
variation is great. Now, you wouldn't necessarily know this was new wave or a cover,
Right.
Coming out years and years after, the original releases and re-releases.
Mm-hmm.
The original version was reworked a few times over the years.
Different mixes.
Right.
Probably in making the synths better sounding.
Probably.
The drum machine. Tweak the drum machine up.
Probably.
Oh, it's 1983. We have a better drum machine.
So lyrically, it's pretty much, mostly it's the same. Cut out a repeat of the verse and the chorus towards the end, so the song's just a little bit shorter. Lyrically, it's the same, but they definitely, again, very much a cover.
Straight up cover this time.
So it's an original track with a little bit of the covering artist's twist on it.
It sounds like a System song though. It's their structure where you've got the insane breakdowns, the crazy boom tat like punk folk drum,
punky.
very raw, just visceral, not like needly. Some of I say needly or crunchy, but this is just like, it slaps. You would have to say, I would say it doesn't necessarily crunch. It doesn't necessarily, what does it do for you? I love this riff. There's something about the way I've always wanted to cover this song. I was in several power trios.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it, but I always wanted to get a band to cover this. Think about the type of mosh pit that would be erupted.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Whoa.
Awesome track to perform live. Yeah, I like this song a lot. I think it's very much, like you said, be a great track to perform live. It's very much high tempo, and it's a lot quicker. They very much change the tempo of songs I think they cover for the most part. They very much speed them up.
It's always fast.
Yes. So it is very much taken in the System taste when they pick something up. This song was featured on Not Another Teen Movie, as well as Dracula 2000, another D-list movie that actually had two, I believe, direct-to-video or DVD sequels, but Dracula 2000, I think I actually saw that movie, sadly enough. Linkin Park's One Step Closer was also on that soundtrack. But
Wow.
Yeah, so this cover did make a couple of movie soundtracks, one more notable than the other.
That's a good payday. So who said, you know what we need in this movie? Berlin, that old Berlin song. You know what we need? Not Berlin. We need System of a Down. Or did they have it already? Or did Rick Rubin suggest it? Or what to where someone said it's that song and it's that band, and it's Dracula, or which one came first? I think Dracula 2000 was first, and then not another teen movie came after. But I just don't understand the thought process of like, I've got the perfect, I'm envisioning the sound of this scene, and it's not Berlin. It's not, but if you took Berlin.
Then he had a little system spice to it. It's like the Powerpuff Girls where he added 3 different things. We want this song, but this style, and we're going to use this band.
There's nothing wrong with that. Why don't... The results speak for themselves, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the Metro on Polymuse Radio. Please react to that for me, Michael. What did you just experience right in front of your ears? Tell the audience at home. I can tell them, but I want to hear it from you.
I might need to listen again to get it, Ben. I have the old one stuck in my head now.
Oh, he's got the Berlin cover stuck in his head, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what we got. Here we go. The Metro on Polymuse Radio.
I do like that it's very punk rock. That's what I have in my notes. Very punk, and I enjoy that a lot, those elements of it. And it's done very much in a system.
Very system.
Very system-y.
They have to do their breakdown bridge, their weird upstroke, their weird like oompa rhythms mixed with their punk rock.
Absolutely.
Dude, I love this song. I love the riff. The last chorus is somehow even more intense. Like, it's not the type of song that builds and builds and builds, but they do top themselves at the end for intensity somehow. Like, they are playing at like a 10 and they do crank it up to 11. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that it's like a goofball new wave song. New wave is awesome. I love new wave. You had punk rock kind of in the late 70s, early 80s, and then new wave is essentially like punk rock with synthesizers. It's a lot of the same kind of do it yourself. It's not as political and not as angry. It's a lot of just kind of party, have a good time type of stuff. But there's a lot of new wave that just cuts. It just hits. I love like the B-52s.
That's very delicious.
I love Blondie. Some very delicious cuts. Some delicious cuts. I love the Cars. Talking Heads not my favorite, but a lot of people tell you about Talking Heads. I'll tell you about the B-52s all day long. We'll do B-52s podcast. So I love new wave, and then it's so cool when you can craft. It's like somebody heard it in there. Somebody heard the rhythms, and they heard how it could translate to a system rhythm. And I'm big on rhythms. I love crafting a song around a drum pattern, around a certain riff. So somebody heard the cuts in there. Like, if you slap it a little bit faster and cut it like this, and I just love that stuff. It's what Daft Punk does. This is a totally different style of music again, but they're DJs. They will take like a disco song and they're like, if we chop it here and we chop it here, it bangs way harder than the original ever banged. And it's like they didn't create the record, but they heard it in there that they could loop it a certain way or chop it a certain way.
Just having an ear for that.
Having an ear for
adjustments could be made.
Reconfiguring a beat. Yeah. So somebody heard this in the old Metro. And I love that type of rhythmic progression to make a song slap like that. It makes a lot of sense to me to build with that idea in mind.
So I graded Metro here a B-.
B-.
I think it's a solid track. Like I said, I like the punk elements, but it's okay to me. Mm-hmm. What did you grade it?
I give it an S.
S tier.
I love the Metro. I understand this is insane, ridiculous that I've given out 3 S tier songs. Shame, Snowblind, and the Metro.
Yes.
Deserve it, to me. I get where you're coming from where...
Hey, it's your mix CD. You like what you like?
Well, no, but I understand your idea of you want it to be their songwriting. But to me, this is so creative the way they like translated the rhythm. I love this song. And I know I'm picking all the obscure ones as the S tier. I will put some of the platinum singles in there as well.
This is your all-timer.
It's got to be there. It's got to be there. I go back to the Metro a lot. Like I said, I learned it. I wanted to cover it. There's something about this song that just makes a lot of sense to me rhythmically. And I want to hear it. I want this to be played at a club or something, or a mosh pit, something where I can experience this in a live version, not the Berlin version, although that would rock too.
That's a solid
that would
song
be a
too.
cool ass show as well.
You're right, though. Out of all their covers, this one is very much deconstructing the original piece and putting it something new together. So this is very much, not taking it at face value and just hitting play and listening to the 3-minute track. This is very much deconstructing what went into the process and rebuilding this piece. So
S+. It's better than Shame, and it's better than Snowblind.
yeah. So I certainly understand it going on your topic CD. I understand it from that process.
I'm excited to see. You have a lot of open slots now for Steal This Album coming up, the third System of a Down album eventually, which we'll see how many S's are there. But you're going to have a lot of open slots for the double Mesmerize Hypnotize album. And I think you're going to end up, the first half of the podcast, I'm going to end up with a lot more S's. And I'm wondering here if the Mesmerize Hypnotize portion, if it's going to be you kind of selling me more on their songwriting, or I do like a lot of those tracks too. I'm just saying, I just blew through 3 S rankings on 3 cover songs, but they are on there, dude. This is my mixtape. I'm bringing the Metro easy.
Sounds good to me.
So here you go, Poly Muse Radio.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time on an album.
I'll see you on the Metro.
We'll catch you at the next stop.
Choo choo.